This week we have Napoleon Emill joining the Breeze Shooters podcast. Tune in.
Yo, put the orange shirt on. You know, it's
Hey.
Secure on the beat. Howdy.
Yo.
Hello, everyone. Oh,
what's up, everybody? Yo, listen. Know your role. Don't step out of line, buddy. What's up, everybody? It's Luke from Breeze Shooters podcast. I'm here with my boy Christian Soto. And we are the show that brings you news, sports, poker, and everything in between. What's up, Christian? How you doing?
We love the tweeners. Check out the guns. Check out the motherfucking guns, baby. I'm on my way back.
Yo, I thought of you because Planet Fitness is going hard this year with the Pizza Thursdays. So, yo, bro.
Oh, they pushed it up in the week. It used to be Fridays. They pushed it up to Thursdays.
They said, let's be happy Thursday and take off Fridays. Oh, man. What's going on, Christian?
Before we get started, I want to apologize for my appearance. This was an impromptu great interview that we have planned. The schedule has been moved. That's all I'm going to say. The schedule has been moved. This is my work clothes. I had to, I took off the scrubs and I put on the, this was under it. So I want to
wait. You just said scrubs?
Apologize to our viewers for I was taking care of a. What was that?
The scrubs? You had to take off the scrubs like you were in surgery?
Exactly. Listen, Lou, just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not true. So what I'm saying is, I had to take care of a very delicate situation, which you were a witness to. I was called out. It was brought up to my attention in the street, and I was taking care of it. After you left, I was taking care of it. So yeah.
What we call that, like a false incarceration. Somebody got locked up by accident. How the fuck does that happen? Only in Brooklyn.
No. That's the thing with my line of work. Things could pile up and make a situation even more complicated situation. So that happened after the banger said, "Hey Chris." Yeah, he started talking about the flood or whatever.
The flood that was happening in his apartment, which you addressed.
So I had to
say a month ago with duct tape.
I had to free my apprentice.
Apprentice. I thought he was your partner, man.
No. I only have one partner, and that's you. And it's because of this. It's 50-50.
No.
I need that documented.
It's El Jefe. And
No. We don't have no titles here.
Hey, man.
Oh,
big shouts to my man, Mr. A from the set. Thank you for the sweatshirt, brother. Appreciate it. Mr. A for the set. If you like the merch, please hit up the set 615 on Facebook.
6145.
That's what it says. The set 6145 on. Yeah, your connection is fucked up.
612 area code.
Check out his page. He has a link for merchandise. Yeah, check out his link. He has check out his page. He has a link for merchandise. You can find cool hoodies and other T-shirts, and I believe he has hats as well. So check him out.
He does carps, and because that look like a carp. That look like a car seat cover.
Actually, that sweater, believe it or not, Chris, it's a 2X, but it's called it's in the sports line, slim fit sports line, athletic line. they have for people like me that are athletes.
Uh,
It's almost like a Under Armour feel. Under Armour.
Yeah, yeah. You know what it is? As you opened it up, it was a whole blackout in the screen.
Well,
So
Chris, I'm really
it's like
close
a whole blackout, like
I'm really close to the camera.
you know, tomato. If that's what you want to call it, that's fine. I'm waiting for mine. So please, when you get a chance, give me because I'm pretty sure Mr. A is a stand-up dude. I'm pretty sure he sent 2. And mine is probably, you said yours was a 2X. Mine is a probably. Is there a size between medium and large?
Yeah,
Because that's where I'm at right now. I'm in between sizes.
It's called the comforter. Yeah, he's getting you a comforter with little cows etched in all around it.
talk about merch. He's really all out. Like he's bed linens and he's going everywhere.
Yo, he fucking sent me a snuggly. I go right
shout out to Mr. A.
Oh, thank you, brother.
We appreciate the love, man. He's always shouting us out, and it's good to have people like that around you.
Too, December 20th, he's doing a raffle for PS5. So if you're interested in that, go check him out. PS5 raffle, December 20th. But I think you should go earlier because I think the boxes are selling out fast. I think he's trying to sell 1,000 boxes, $2 a box. Winner, it's based off the New York Lotto for that day. I think it's pick 3, whatever that number is. If you have it, boom, you're the winner. You go home with a PS5.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. 1,000 tickets. I think he's already maybe 400 boxes in already.
No,
or I
thought it was 600. Well,
yeah,
who knows?
I could be wrong with the count, but I know they're going pretty fast for $2 a box.
I'm gonna make a suggestion to see if he could float me about 17 boxes.
$34.
If if I want to put it on layaway, if I win, then but I want to put it on layaway.
Oh man, good luck. Good luck with that, man.
Lou, you saw, all jokes aside, you saw our friend Medianoche singing like he was singing like in a bathroom or something. He has a beautiful voice.
Yo, Chris, you keep on pushing that guy. Everybody has their breaking point. Hey,
yeah. How the fuck he invites me?
Text in the middle of the night, I said, "Oh shit, is that Juan for real?" I had to do a double take. I really thought it was Juan. I thought it was Juan.
Nah, yeah. It is. How does he invite us? He invites me to play poker, and this is his invitation. You white motherfucker. Yeah, you want to play poker? I'm like, yo, you like what's with the aggressiveness, man? What's with the hostility? You can say, hey, Chris, would you like to come play poker today? But this guy's like on, I don't know why, because I don't think I get that out of people.
Yeah, you're the furthest thing from white. But he probably wanted to
get of course.
You to come out. He probably wanted to get you upset so you could come out.
No, he doesn't want me upset. You know what happened last time? When I buckled down, he has to understand something. Everybody's not you, Louis. Everybody, take your money back. No, not me. I gotta feed my kids. I got a lot of kids, and I got a lot of grandkids, and I gotta feed myself, as you can see, because this is this doesn't come naturally. This right here. Yeah. So, I don't have a problem taking money from anybody.
Like real quick, Chris. Let's stay there for a second. I'm going to talk about what Chris is talking about, the story Chris is talking about. But before I do that, we joining us shortly is going to be Napoleon Emill. Napoleon Emill is a comedian, actor. He's done several movies, and he's somebody that's on the come up right now in comedy. Brother is projected to have a really bright future in comedy. His jokes are really good. You definitely got to check him out. He hits all the big clubs in the tri-state area, Carolines, the Cellar, you name it. And I think he's also appeared on TBS, a TBS comedy special. So he's going to join us in a couple of minutes. But in the meantime, going back to what Chris said earlier, so we're at my house.
Tell production,
Huh?
tell production to keep it down.
Yo, Sean, keep
There's
it down.
a lot of dragging.
Careful. So, all right. So,
Moving furniture. What's wrong with this kid?
so we're at my
Poker,
house.
your house.
We're playing poker, and it's me and a couple of guys were playing, and this Juan, who's he's a Colombian guy that has recently joined the family, and so he's playing and he's antsy. He's been bothering me. He wants to play poker. All right, cool. He comes play poker with us. So sitting across from me is Chris, and Juan is right to my left. So me and Juan are in a hand, and I push all in. All in is that's it. You're gambling everything. You lose, you're out the game. He pushes all in. So so we wait for the cards to turn over to flip our cards. So on the board is a possible flush. That means there's 4 of the same suit. There were spades. He had a really bullshit hand to start with. He had like a jack 2, but the 2 was a spade, which gave him the winning hand. But he was embarrassed. He didn't want to show his hand. I think I had a pair of pocket 9s. I turn over my pocket 9s. He sees my hand and he mucks his cards, which is to throw them in the deck. That he
gave up.
He gave up.
He surrendered.
So I look at his hand. I realized he won, and I knew the kid just started, wanted to play. So I said, you know what? Hey man, you really won the hand. You shouldn't do that. And I only took half the chips. I should have took all his chips. So he gets half his chips.
No,
So the guy across from me, what does he say? Which is Christian. He goes, "You're no good." He goes, "Nice guys finish last. Watch, he's gonna come back and fucking beat you." So that starts to play in your mind. And I'm there, I'm playing, and my chips are dwindling. They're fucking dwindling. I make it down to the final 3. It's me, Juan, and Mike. And all I hear is this fat guy in the back of my head. "You sucker." That's it. "You sucker." So what happens? Me and Juan end up in a hand together. It's all in. I fucking lose. I don't hear nothing, but I'm looking down. I peek up and I look across the table, and he's just shaking his head. There's a sucker born every day. And just like that, I lost my shit. It was a learning lesson for me and Juan. I would never do that shit again.
no, man. Not in poker. Not that's like. Let me put a more drastic example on the table. You're in the cage in the UFC, and you hit a guy, and you wobble him, but you don't finish him off.
That's different.
And you know how UFC? No, it's the same thing. He came back and he fucking got on you, and he didn't let go until he got on your chips. And it was so fitting that the all in could have been with Fat Mike, and you know what? It would have been fine. But the all in was with him. So the final nail in your coffin, Juan drove it in.
Yeah,
as we like to call him out of love, Medianoche.
What does medianoche mean? Can you hear me, Chris?
You know, because he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. He's like, he's like midnight. Like, you know how midnight is like the best time? Midnight, midnight, it's yay, New Year, midnight. That's why we call him midnight. Has nothing to do with nothing else. Yeah, you never do that, man. And then it was and I know, you said you're a nice human being, man. And that's what happened. But he's not a newbie. He's always talking about that he knows how to play or whatever.
Well,
Lou, I would have taken his Similac. Money. I don't give a fuck.
Looking at the hands he was
lesson learned.
Looking at the hands he was playing, he's still new.
Oh, Lou, the majority of people that we know that play poker suck at poker. That's just the majority of people. that we know. You're one of the few that, I don't like to say this too often, but you're one of the few that know quality of hands, percentage of hands, the money and but a lot of people think that King 10 suited is King 10 is a good hand. A lot of people listen, the majority of people will overplay Ace King. They just overplay it. They can't let it go. And that's not that they're new, that's just that they're stupid. See, new is one thing, stupid is another. Mm-hmm. And most of the people that we play with are stupid.
You're a jerk. So where does the donkey fall? Right in the middle?
I think he got mad. When because at some point, first of all, let me give you props. The heat in your home was top notch. I felt like you left the sauna door open because it was fucking hot as fuck in there.
No, that was the plan. To steal sweaters. If I turn it up, I'll get some sweaters. It's always about the sweater.
So I see you sweating. And this is when mind you, I've been trying to change. I don't want to be an asshole. I want to be a nice guy. I want to be like you, right? So I see you sweating, and you're sweating like I can see the bacon drips off your forehead. And I'm like, all right, and then all of a sudden I look at Juan, who's sitting in between us.
Uh-huh.
And I see that it felt like his Jerry curl was being reactivated. Because of the condensation of the sweat coming off your forehead, his Jerry curl was like when you try to start a car. I thought that was what's going on. No, shout out to Shake, man. Shake is an undercover asshole because he was texting me some funny ass shit that if he would have said it, it would have been hilarious. Meanwhile, this is the problem. See,
during the
game, he texted me a picture of NWA.
Yo, Shakes an ass.
I picture NWA with the curls, and I'm laughing, and I'm like, yo, asshole, this would have been a great joke, but he doesn't want to say nothing. You know how Shake is, humble dude. So then I say, I call the dude AC Green or whatever. And, it was a great night. It was a good night. I'm glad I made my money. Made my money back.
That was funny when you started stacking your chips. Mike goes, "Hey, let's play like how they do in the Tropicana." The 5-5. He was trying to get that money back fast. Oh man, that shit was hysterical.
I said, get the fuck out of here. Get out of here, man. It's 2 o'clock. I gotta go back to Brooklyn.
Oh man.
Casino. Let's do like in the casino. Because he wanted his money. He wanted his money back. Who won? They split the money, right? Yeah, they split the money. Juan and Mike. Tournament money.
The tournament money, but Juan gave it back in the cash game.
Yeah.
He lost the $70 in the cash game.
He said he only lost $20. I know he didn't lose $20.
No, I
know he lost a little bit more because he wanted to leave. No, how many times?
2 times. No, $60. I think he bought in, right?
He bought 40, and then So I guess he went home with $30. I guess. But funny thing is that Mike was telling him he was gonna leave, and we pressured him back to sit down and play. He lost the second buy-in too.
Yeah, and he
wanted to leave. He was gonna call an Uber.
And he had to work.
How does the Uber get? Yeah.
And he had to work the next morning too.
Well, he does. He's sitting down, man. He don't.
Wow.
Yeah, but he sits down all day, and
Yo, but Christian, you lay down. You take your calls laying down.
Okay, look, that was in my past. I don't like to talk about the past, but you're talking about now? Or you're talking about?
Chris, we got Napoleon, so let's bring him on, okay?
All right, so we gotta. Are we resetting in this or what?
No, we're good. We're only.
What's your time?
12 minutes. We're good.
Oh shit! It felt like I've been talking for like a half hour.
because we didn't record that before. Napoleon. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Napoleon Emill to the Bree Shooters podcast show. What's up,
going
bro?
on?
How
How
you
you
feeling?
doing, bro?
Good, good.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Trying to get this light straight.
Napoleon, my name is Lou, and my co-host up top is Chris, and we are the Bree Shooters podcast. Thank you for joining us, man.
Bro, thank you for having me.
No, it's a real pleasure.
I'm gonna do like you, bro. Put that head backwards so
Yeah. We don't want the light. We don't want the light to, this is the money maker. We can't hide this one.
Nah, man. Let it show.
Hey, so Napoleon, so you still reside in Bed-Stuy?
Yes, I'm in Brooklyn. I live in Brooklyn, I live in Bed-Stuy. Yeah, this is
Okay,
my
that's
home
good.
currently.
Yeah, we're from Sunset Park, Brooklyn. We're like
I'm originally from North Carolina.
I'm sorry, from where?
I got a plug down that way. I'm
Oh,
originally from North Carolina, but I know Sunset Park though. I got a plug down there.
oh, nice.
Okay.
Hey, you're probably gonna make a new plug right here, man. So,
All right, word. I'm down.
so Napoleon, I guess
That's all that's in my phone now. That's all my contacts.
Hey, so Napoleon, I guess educate our listeners. Tell us about your background, how you got started in comedy and acting, and all that good stuff.
Like I said, I'm originally from North Carolina, from Charlotte, and my parents are from Brooklyn. So I spent a lot of time in New York growing up as a kid, and I think that kind of weathered, I guess, my perspective, my culture, seeing two different sides of the East Coast, being in the South and being in the North, two different types of like, we were in Section 8 living. It was like the projects, but like I would come to New York when my parents grew up in the projects, and my idea of it was like, oh, like my cousins, they were like, oh, man, you live good. Like you live down south. Like it's nice out there. It's like, they had that TV idea of it. And then they came to visit us one time and they were like, bro, this is the projects. It's just your buildings are sideways. They're like, none of this, I was like, what? No, man, it's like, it's nice. They were like, look at that trampoline. I looked over at the trampoline and then I was like, oh shit. He was like, yeah, that's a mattress, bro. That's like, this is the hood. They're jumping on a mattress outside. I'm like, all right, man. I see what you're saying.
Oh man.
I thought I was in the suburbs. I was just down 85 South. Big difference.
Let me tell you though, I caught some of your routine, and I'll tell you that that experience being from North Carolina, I think really paid off because your demeanor and your poise on stage is incredible. Like you're not, it doesn't seem like you're rattled by anything.
Appreciate it, bro.
And what I saw was there was like it wasn't a large venue. It was like a few people there and a couple of folks or fans didn't catch your joke, and you was like so nonchalant. Like, hey, I guess that went over your head, and then they started to catch up. They're like, "Hey, we got to pay attention. This guy's really telling some jokes here."
I don't know what it. I'll be the first to tell you, bro. I'm like anxiety ridden, dog. I'm like all in my head, and it's kind of like a projected like kind of way of being outwardly to be like chill, collect, to kind of let everything kind of build around me. And that's like the energy I take on stage. It's like the way I approach the audience is like the way I want to be talked to, right? Like if somebody over explains to me, I'm like, I get frustrated. I'm like, bro, like what do you think I haven't lived? Like get to the point. Okay. So when I tell jokes, I try to like be to them like they smart. Like there's somebody I hang out with. I'm like, oh, they're gonna get it, right? And if like they don't get it, like it'll come eventually. I'd rather not assume, right? Because most comics, we have this thing, we assume we're smarter than who we're talking to, right? Like we got the platform, we're on stage, we got all the attention. we got the amplified voice, so we think that what we have to say is like smarter. And I try to assume like, okay, yeah, I may think that that's why I'm doing comedy, but at the end of the day, I can't be like smarter than every brain in front of me. So it's like, instead of me talking to them over explaining shit, I'll say things. I used to think the least amount of words, the better,
It's
right?
true.
To get a point across. I
Okay.
don't have to over explain it. It's just like, get to the point, and they mentally will catch up to your rhythm. And it's like, it's all like psychological shit, bro. You get on stage, I realize don't nobody know me. I'm not on TV. I'm not on a sitcom. So like, they don't recognize me. There's no like, oh, we know this guy. So I have to hit him quick.
Yeah.
I have to hit him like fast. That was like my thing was like, I'm not a fast paced guy. So I got to make sure what comes out of my mouth makes sense. So I would go up on stage, and when I first started and my first joke, I would get on stage and I'd be like, hello. And people would laugh just because my energy of saying hello, like, oh, hello. People would laugh. I'd be like, thank you for laughing. I wrote that joke this morning. I was like, saying hello. That should work. That should kill. And then I'd be like, you think I should have closed with that? Like, just like fucking with it. And it started this whole like, so it's like I say the one thing and everything that comes behind it is like just sarcasm, trolling. Like, you think I should have closed with a hello? Like, just leave the like, it's like you kind of like put them in your like sense of humor, like kind of net. They know what your like humor is at off the bat. Like,
Yeah.
starting off, we have a problem jumping on stage and just wanting to go right to whatever joke we think is our hottest joke. Like, oh, this is gonna be good. But if that joke doesn't introduce you in any type of way without you saying, hi, I'm so-and-so, it's like they gotta like settle into what you're doing. They gotta like reset their eyes for what's happening, that reset their ears. It's like, all right, hold on, bro. We just saw somebody else go up. Like, who are you? So it's like you gotta get them quick. So it's like my way of introducing myself was giving them the first piece of like my smart ass energy. Off the top. It's like, let me be a smart ass so they know.
That's that. You know, it's funny you say that because like I said, we've been dibbling dabbling in comedy, but I know it's not easy. See, people think just because you make people laugh, you know, your friends laugh or whatever, it's not the same thing as standing on stage and relaying a message, relaying a point of view to be funny. So, you know, there's some type of structure that goes with that. And believe it or not, I never heard, it's crazy. You not that I never heard it, but you just broke it down to where you just can't come in and hit them with what you think is your favorite, is your best joke. You gotta lead them into it. You gotta let them feel you and understand who you are.
You gotta let them be familiar with you first, right? And there's many different ways to introduce yourself. Like, me saying hello is like the you know, the age old like greeting, hello. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like, I say hello one word. I don't say like what up, hello. Like, I'm just like hello.
Yeah.
And I'll look to them to respond, and they'll laugh, whether it's from nervousness, whether it's a misdirection of me just saying hello, but it's just like, hello, thank you for laughing. I wrote that this morning. It's like, it's fucking like, it's like me making fun of the fact, like, hey man, I wrote this whole joke. Hello. It was fucking 5 letters. No effort put into it. Just hello. All right, next joke. So it's like, yeah, when you're like, people will say like, oh, I'm the funniest dude in my crew. Like, I'm the funniest dude at work. And my thing is like, people at work, your family, your friends, they know you. So they know your sense of humor. They know exactly where you're coming from. So they're already they're already in tune with your like your cadence. They know the whole. Can you guys see me?
Your demeanor.
Oh, okay, here we go. No, they know your whole demeanor. Yeah, exactly. They know your whole demeanor. They know your approach. So they're like waiting for the punchline, but they know exactly where to find it. It's like the first time I performed at home, the first time I went to Charlotte, I was back home performing in this gallery I used to go to every week. They used to have like dollar beer night every Wednesday. So I was like, yo, I'm gonna be there Wednesday. Can we set a show up here? And they were like, yeah. And this art gallery, which holds like maybe 80 people, had about 200 people in there. people I had no idea would come out and support. It was my first time going home to tell jokes. And every tag, every riff, every end of a breath, they laughed. And it like took me off my rhythm a little bit. Cause I was just like, shit was hitting that things that you hope to hit, but you get used to like just not hitting hard, or just like people take it how it takes it. So your expectation kind of tapers out, right? So I go home, they all laughing at everything. I'm just like, shit, like that shit had like me on this like, oh, but it's like, yeah, they all know me.
They know
so I'm
you.
over here telling them jokes that I've been running around with a bunch of strangers in New York doing. And then I went home to people who know me and they heard those jokes, and everybody like, oh, this is perfect. The way you say this is like, it's so you, it's so you, it's so you. And I'm like, oh, these people were waiting for that from me. They were waiting to hear.
What was effortless in North Carolina, in Charlotte, it takes you a little bit more effort here in New York or any other place that's not.
Well, I won't. It wasn't. There's an element of that, yeah. But also when the people know you, they know you. You know what I'm saying? So I was known for being like a funny guy, a very deadpan, smart ass, like smart aleck. Like I always had like my 2 cents. I was very critical and judgmental. It's like just like in my own way. Like I hated everything around me, but I was everywhere at the same time. I'm in all the places, but I always had a judgment on. I'm like, this place is trash. Let's go get another beer. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I had that energy, so I was just a complainer. I was a humorous complainer. So like doing comedy helped me translate and see how to give stuff off. So like in my friend group, like my closest friend group, I'm not the funniest one. And it's like, those other dudes, they're not gonna not do their jobs. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna like teach drama. They're gonna fucking sell insurance. They're gonna work in the hospitals and check like echo scanners and shit. They're never gonna do stand-up. But these are some of the funniest dudes I know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when people would come up to me, this is kind of mean, but they would be like, yo, man, I'm like the funniest dude in my group of friends. And I'd be like, yo, who's second funniest? Like, tell that nigga to start doing stand-up.
That don't be you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, though.
Like, who the second funniest? Who not used to the love? Who the one that's not used to the love? Tell that motherfucker to go do stand-up. I'm like, you already reached your pinnacle. You like already high in your friend group. I wasn't the funniest. I was just the shittiest in my friend group.
Now
every time I hear that, I'm like, ah.
Now staying there for a second. Like when you're working out your material, you're planning out your comedy, do you plan it out or write it out based on the rooms you're gonna work, or it doesn't matter, you're just gonna write your comedy as is and it will work depending?
You're talking about like how I like altering different scenes?
Yeah. Like I
altering different scenes?
Yeah, like different groups. I'm sorry, there's a
I think when it comes to like my prep, I guess, or when it comes to fashioning my jokes or material, I try to keep the same energy everywhere I go. But I had to build that confidence when I was open micing. So I would open mic when I first moved up to New York. I would, have nights where I would do like 5 open mics, right? And I would never do them. I would have a route. I would like, okay, I'm gonna start in fucking Williamsburg, in Greenpoint, right? In Bushwick. And then by the end of the night, I'll be doing mics in Harlem. You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. So I would do a mic in the alt room. I go to the city, do a couple mics in like Chinatown, Lower East Side, hit a mic in Gramercy, Midtown, and then I'd wind up at Mocha's doing a mic at, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, trying to tell jokes. Wow. So I would try to run through every scene so that I maintained a certain energy in both, and not to be stubborn in any situation, but to take things from everyone, take things from every situation. Like I knew when I was in alternative rooms, they liked edgy material. They liked very dark stuff. I knew I was in mainstream rooms. They were like very like, they wanted to appreciate the joke and they wanted to hear it, but they also wanted like quick laughs. You know what I'm saying? But they came to appreciate the joke and watch you kind of work through it. And then I would go to black rooms, and I was like, oh, they just want me to be a funny nigga. Like, it's like fucking jokes. They were like, what's your energy? So I would do the black rooms because I like my approach in this room, and then I take that approach with the writing mentality I had that I was building up in, like, you know, doing open mics in Bushwick and like fucking Williamsburg and Clinton Hill, using that to kind of mold them together so that whenever I'm in any room, I even if I fail, I'm failing doing what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm failing at telling the jokes the way I wanted to say them, versus me going to a certain room and trying to put on too much sauce in this direction or take it off in another direction because I'm in this type of room. I want that hello joke to work in every situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want those. I want to be able to say it, and it doesn't matter where I'm recording this set. I can push it off and let it represent me because it's like, this is how I'm going to say this joke regardless. This is how I want to. That's how I want to push my material regardless.
Wow. Yeah, no, I that was always a thought I had because, like what you just said earlier, I do know comics that do work 5, 6 rooms in one evening, and I'm like, do you switch it up because each crowd is a little different, each environment has a little different energy. So I'm like, do you have extra jokes just in case something doesn't hit, and you go with plan B versus?
I mean, you always have, like, I think we're always writing, so we're always have like material that's like there.
Gotcha.
So it's like, you do a bunch of showcase in New York, right? Every showcase is like averages out anywhere from 8 to 12 minutes, 15 minutes to max, 6, 7 minutes at the lightest for most of these shows, right? And, every once in a while you're hitting the 20-minute, 25, 30-minute mark. Depends if somebody's running late or they want you to close a show and they say, go the fuck off, do whatever you want. So you have those opportunities, but you go into these rooms, you have, let's say 10 minutes. That's what you got, 10 minutes to tell your jokes. So you go in that situation being like, all right, whether I'm in this type of room, that type of room, I just got 10 minutes. 10 minutes to be with these people, 10 minutes to like showcase and let them figure out at the end of it if they want to fucking follow or not. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'll go to a different room and I have enough jokes where it's, I may open up differently. I may go a different route, but it's never something that I'm going to say differently about the same joke. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Like, there's my point that I'm trying to get out, and then there's always room for me to be reactionary. I always want to keep myself reactionary. I respect the idea. I respect the process. I respect having a set list. I respect having jokes in a fashion that you want to give them. That's the things I personally respect about it, but also respect going off topic. I respect being able to come up with a gripe I'm having that day. Like, sometimes I'll run into people who will tell me about the one time they saw me, and what I talked about was nothing that I remembered. Like, I remember talking about it, having this issue, but it wasn't something that was like a joke of mine that I keep doing. It's not something that like, oh, this is like material that I have. This was just whatever I was beefing about that day. And this one guy, I remember one time he came up to me, he was like, bro, you did like 10 minutes on why they don't have Parmesan cheese at like dollar pizza spots, why they don't think we're deserving of that delicacy. I was like, you go to dollar spots, they never have Parmesan cheese. I was like, why? Do they not think we want it? Why is it such a commodity? And it's like, I remember bringing that up, but I have no idea what connected with them. I had no idea what funny parts of it were like, oh yeah, that was a funny thing I said. Like, I was like, yeah, I just remember feeling like this. I came to the show, like, trying to get a slice, and I was like, oh, you guys got Parmesan? I'm like, no. I was like, for real, this is a fucking pizza shop. But like, I was like, this makes sense to me, bro. You don't have Parmesan, why?
Especially the pizza spot. Hey, so staying there on
it made me sad enough to talk about it for 10 minutes.
Staying there on interruptions. I know New York is challenging because the people are somewhat unpredictable. Have you encountered any situations where you with hecklers or people just kind of interrupt your show? And if so, how do you handle that?
It happens, bro. It's like, each one is different, bro. Every heckle ain't the same type of heckle, man. You get people that want to over agree with your jokes. They just too wasted to realize they're disrupting the show. You have people that are just in their own fucking lane. They're just like checking their receipt, checking their phone, talking to whoever's next to them. When I approach by hecklers, man, you're young, you're new up there, so it's uncomfortable, so you don't know what approach to take. You're like, should I just like roast this person, or should I like try to ignore them? Now it's like, if I see someone heckling someone else, right, a comic that's going up right before me, and the host would be like, I'll quiet them down. I'll be like, nah, don't. I'll like let them have this energy when I get up there.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
You want to
Like,
kill
I'll
him?
find myself being like, no, don't tell him nothing. I like say nothing to him, please.
The way I see it,
Let
also,
them
you know
stay
what's funny about
comfortable.
that?
Let them feel comfortable in this spot right here. I'm like, I'm gonna go and talk to them.
Exactly. I've heard comics. I've gotten mixed reactions. I've heard comics, you know, famous comics say they get upset at the heckling. You know, it's disrespectful. And then I put myself in that situation, and I think I'll be somewhat like you. No, because if I only got 10 minutes, 5 or 6 of those minutes, I'm gonna roast this motherfucker as bad as.
Here's the thing, right? Because I see all sides of it, right? So I know all those modes, right? But it's like to say I'm working on a set to record, to submit to like festivals.
Oh, okay.
And somebody pulls up and they want to heckle. I'm just like, well, fuck this tape. You know what I'm saying? You got to deal with that emotion in a split second before you say another word. You're like, well, that shit's done. I can't use this shit. And it's like, well, fuck. Well, now I'm pissed off at you because, you know, you ruined this thing that I'm over here. Like, I watched the comic before me have a good set. Why can't I have the good set? Why do you have to disrupt now? What did I say to make you think you can talk back to me? Then you come across those drunk assholes. I remember this one dude, every time I had like a drink on stage, every time I took a sip, he took a sip and made like an OD slurping sound. And I was just like, bro, I'm like, you here with your like your wife, your girl? Like, why is it always people like you who think I'm like, you come to a comedy show and you need the attention yourself. Like, go to a fucking open mic, bro. Go to an open mic. Why are you here disrupting my shit? Because what, you don't like that your girlfriend is laughing at it? I was like, I'm not about to fuck her. Like, I don't think that's about to happen. I don't think she's gonna like walk up and be like, yo, you were super funny. I'm gonna leave my boyfriend right now for you. I'm like, that's not about to happen, bro. She'll laugh. You remember some jokes. You guys have some inside jokes at home, and then you fuck. That's how it is.
Yeah. And that's what the smart person will think. That's, you know, have a good time, have a couple of drinks, we laugh, and then we go home and we smash. But
yeah,
no,
you go home being like, remember when he said hello? Like, that was so crazy. And then you take your pants off. That was insane when he said that one shit. Hell yeah, give me a kiss, give me some sugar.
He's kicking himself. I could have came up with that. So
nah, it's just, yeah, but I see it. But go ahead, Lou.
yeah, so Napoleon, like, so, you know, when I was researching you, every blog or every site was saying that you're like you're the next comedian coming up. Like your projection is really high, that they see you going places. So I could only imagine this COVID shit really kind of threw a wrench in your plans, or are you still working despite the COVID?
I mean, for the large part of like since like the summer, I've been like pretty busy with doing shows, showcases around the city. I can say that I did not miss a beat with that. Like, as soon as that shit opened back up, because I was here, a lot of people saw that I was here and know me as a strong comic. So everybody was like, hey, can you come do my show here? So like some of these venues, like Tiny Cover, like I've done that place like 10, 11 times. Like these places that have these repeat shows, Unruly Collective, and also in Brooklyn, like a lot of these good spaces. You know, they've you know made it so that we have these opportunities to get on stage, even though it's under these circumstances. The curve, I think, I don't know, because like I feel like a curve is like on an individual basis, right? And because we all had to go through this, it's a setback as a whole.
Gotcha.
And I think I was doing enough, I was making enough noise before COVID that this break won't have them forget me throughout the summer, how much I was getting booked. But it's the people who are funny, who put in their time in other cities like Chicago, Philly, fucking Atlanta, anywhere else, who just moved to the city, St. Louis, wherever, who just moved to the city, who were just starting to get booked, and then it happened. So they was just starting to build that word of mouth familiarity, and that's where like those people got held up.
They got hurt.
Because
Yeah,
like
okay,
you know,
okay.
you come to this city, right, and you knew nobody knows you, but you come as a good comic already. It's only a matter of time before it catches, and then you
word of mouth, and
it takes
and,
a
oh,
good.
we heard.
You get a good season or two before everybody's like booking you everywhere. They're like, oh, this person, like, yeah, they're not new. They just fucking moved here from fucking Richmond. Like, they've been doing comedy for 4 years before they came up. Like, so those people got hurt who were trying to establish themselves, get their own, like, you know, weekly, monthly shows started, who got a halt to that. So that hurt a lot of those guys. I think there was a lot of, like, flexes that I had that I couldn't pull up on when COVID happened. Like a couple of, you know, festivals I got into that I was like ready to post about, being like, I'm doing this shit this summer, I'm doing this, which, you know, the way I look at it now is like all superficial, like, I wanted to do that shit, but it's like nobody else got to post about it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else got to. So I can't like sit there and be like, oh man, this fucking pandemic is happening to me. It's like that shit happening to all of us.
To everybody, yep. All over the world.
Yeah.
So with that being said, like, where do you see yourself like 5 years from now? Do you have like a thought in your mind where you want to be?
5 years from now, shit. Man, 5 years from now, I'll probably be dead or in jail, bro. Nah.
Over here.
I got lost for a second. Bring off the same.
I got lost for a second. I thought, wait, am I applying for a job? This sounded like an interview question.
Am I a good fit for this podcast?
Listen, he's gonna lose a year because of COVID, so that's only 4 years.
I hope not. I hope not still in the pandemic 5 years from now. That's where I see myself. Hopefully outside, breathing in people's faces. Yeah. Hopefully 5 years from now, I'd like to be maybe not at the same spot I am. I don't want to be in the same position I am now. I want to be able to, you know, be able to get on bigger stages, get in front of more people. So, you know, I think the things that I need to do to kind of get that ability to flex, just small things to be in a position where I'm like creating content more for like television and some of these streaming apps.
Okay.
And, you know, pushing, you know, series and pilots out, working on stuff like that. I like to get the experience of, you know, more experience, I should say, working in a writing room and being able to like work under that schedule and those crunches and stuff and kind of like get that energy of just kind of producing stuff, producing material out. Not necessarily just to have quantity up, but just to like know those, like, you know, those guidelines, those restraints of how like, you know, you get something that like 12 o'clock at night, you get an email with like 6 different pictures. It is like, give me a commercial for each and 3 riffing jokes on each for tomorrow morning. You know what I'm saying? Wow. It's like you get that at 12 o'clock and I'm not sitting in the crib getting it in front of my laptop. I'm like leaving the comedy club, running to another bar show, getting that text message. Like, okay, all right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I want to get into that hustle of things more. I mean, like, it's stressful, it can be anxiety ridden, but it's also like busy. You're busy, you're doing stuff, and it's like time is like going, and you're kind of like building these relationships, building this muscle in you, this joke writing muscle. So like all of that shit, man. That's where I want to be in 5 years. I want to be controlling content in a different rate than I am right now.
Napoleon, let me help you out. It sounds like you need 2 interns right here, Breeze Shooters. We can get that message. Me and Chris can just have at it. I can't promise you're going to get a lot of work, but we can get those submissions.
Interns like, what do you want? I'll be like, what do you want? I don't know.
Work for burgers, man.
I'll be answering emails for the intern. I'm like, I'm sorry, dog. I'm not used to this power. Like, do you need something from the
Oh,
store?
man.
Oh man. So
How we doing on time, look?
we're coming up close. But before I wanted to ask you one more question because I love this question when it's ever comedians. Who are your top 3 comedians ever that inspired you?
Top 3 comedians, man, it's gonna be super hack. I don't know. Chappelle, Patrice are like,
Patrice is
big
good. I
time
like
for me.
Patrice.
Patrice. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. But another one, a little bit more active and running around like LA right now, but he's from the South, a guy named Rory Scovel. I'm a huge fan of his. Really funny comic. He started like in the Atlanta scene, and he was in New York for a bit, but he's like an LA guy. He has his own YouTube series and works and writes on a lot of different shit. Does a lot of voice work and shit. But he's like very like he's kind of an alt comic. He kind of was like he blew up in that like Obama era of like just bearded plaid shirt wearing comics, but he had like an energy and a style that was very like alternative and smart ass like that. I was just like, dog, I got everything that he was all the shit that he was spitting out. I was like, I get it all. It all makes sense. Like I know exactly what you're saying. He's like probably one of my favorites. Also more of a current situation, but as a past, yeah, I would have to say the run of the mill, Chappelle, Patrice. I loved Carlin. You know what I'm saying? He's somebody who it's hard to mention those names without Pryor, without Eddie, without Martin.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Those are all like the OGs. I grew up. It's like, all right, check this shit out, right? So like comics, you talk to a lot of comics, they'll tell you comedy died in the 90s. Like the 80s was like the heyday for comedy, and it didn't come back until like 2010, 2012. But like I always felt like comedy didn't die in the 90s. Comedy just went to black rooms. Yeah. So when they saying comedy died, I'm like, dog, that's when I was like awakened to comedy through Def Jam and like Comic View and like, Martin and fucking Fresh Prince and like A Different World and all of that shit. Like that was like, hanging with Mr. Cooper. Like these are all like stand-ups, you know what I'm saying? That would like, that was 91, 92, like Faison, like all of these guys, like Cedric, fucking Steve Harvey before the fame and limelightness. But like, yeah, DLQ, like all of that 90s, like that's where I grew up on. I'm like, that's when comedy was like, that's before like the hack shit became hack. That's when it was all like just
exactly.
We're just
and now everything you say is scrutinized.
Yeah,
too.
well, now it's like the room we have to be in. It's like the space that we have created for ourselves, not just as comics, just as people in general. We kind of created this space of like, be careful what you say. But that's the thing about comedy. Comedy's supposed to like, stretch those lanes of like the way you think. Like people get set off by like words you say at the top of your set, something's triggering, whatever the premise is. And they'll check out immediately and have all this opinion. But it's like, dog, let me wait till I finish this joke before you start to crucify me on the shit I said. Like before you want to like blow my spot up, how about you hear the punchline? Watch how it turns. And like it may not turn in a good direction. Shit, talk me for that. Don't fucking like come at me for some shit that I said up top. Like, let that shit work itself out. And then a lot of times, especially now, I've seen people criticize comics for things they say. And I'm like, bro, we ain't none of us getting stage time. Ain't none of us working these jokes out. So you're seeing a real raw process of comics. So true. Like, we ain't been on, like, this was like June, July. Like, we ain't been on stage in like 3-4 months. So somebody talking about something current, there's no workshop in that joke. There's no workshop in that premise. Mm-hmm. We're not open micing right now. We're getting booked on a show, 2 shows in a week if we're like nice about it. And this is the only time we got to work it out. You know what I'm saying? So like I watched another homie talking about fucking Meg Thee Stallion and people and just made this one dude uncomfortable and he's like heckling and he's like, bro, I'm not saying I agree with the situation. And all I'm seeing is like them going back and forth. And I'm like, he don't understand. This guy in the audience don't understand that this man, this is like a fresh thing, and the opportunities to get on stage to work it out. Like if this was like before quarantine, by the time you saw this joke, he would have said it 30 times already.
Absolutely.
So he would have had that. He would have had that shaping to it by the time you saw it. But because it's in this situation, this might be the second time he's saying this joke. You know what I'm saying? This might be the third time he's saying this joke. So like, you know, now you're seeing that raw process of it. And there's like, you know, people are not going to take that into account watching a show, watch somebody try to talk some heavy shit. We don't have that time right now. So it's like, I think that's the beautiful part of it. Like we have to like use our stage time. Like it's precious right now to get on stage, to get in front of an audience. So you want all your shit to kind of like, all right, what do I want to say? How do I want to say it? Like, how am I going to get this point across? What am I trying to go? How long do I want to waste my time on this one subject? Like you're thinking all of that shit. I had to relearn how to be high and tell jokes during the quarantine. I was like I was getting anxiety attacks when they'd be like, yo, Napoleon, we're going to light this guy. You're going up in 2 minutes. And I'd be like, oh shit. I'm like, why do I feel like, oh shit? And I was like, I haven't been on stage so long and I haven't been high getting on stage. I was like, oh shit, maybe I should cut back on this smoking before I go up a little bit. Just to kind of like, it was a monster I already defeated years ago. So it's like, why are you coming back up in my life? Like I've been did this shit. But yeah, but that's what it is. It's like I had to refrain myself. Like we all gonna be like that. We all gonna be like, we have to get and like even with right now, shit is slowing down because of the weather and the numbers going back up. So we're still gonna be like trying to keep our feet up underneath us, making sure we don't, you know what I'm saying, lose too much of our approach to the stage. But like
exactly,
it's happening to all of us.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Hey, Napoleon, we're against the clock here. I just want to thank you personally for jumping on with me and Chris today. It was a true pleasure.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah. Hey, where can people find you?
Napoleon Emill, one word, Napoleon Emill. That's on Twitter, Instagram, Venmo, Cash App, all 4 places you can find me. Napoleon-email.com is my website. I'm gonna get back better with updating. I'm mostly through Instagram, but I'll post most of my shows and my stories.
Shoot us that info so we could plug it on our social media.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure your stock just doubled right now. It just doubled. Woo!
Hey Chris,
I now have 100 fans.
Exactly. Hello.
Yo, it was a pleasure, Napoleon.
50 before this started.
Hey man, it was a true pleasure, Napoleon. I wish you continued success. And again, like anything you ever want to plug, please. You got my email, you got my contact information. I'll be more than happy to put it.
All love. I appreciate you guys hitting me up. This is dope, bro. Thank you for having me.
Always love, pal. God bless and many blessings on you.
Of course. Happy holidays to you guys, bro.
Take care, man.
Likewise.
Take it easy.